Welcome to issue 34. I am here with...
I'm Carol Schweitzer.
I'm Colin McNally with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
What brings you all to issue 34?
So we thought this was a great venue to meet a lot of our colleagues in the forensic DNA space because we are collaborating with them on a regular basis to apply DNA technology on missing and unidentified child these days.
Okay. So what DNA technologies are you all using?
So right now we're using pretty much anything in regards that can help with human identification. So it could be the standard CODIS, STR, mitochondrial profiles that we are advocating agencies to get into CODIS. We're also utilizing private labs that are doing genealogy work. So whole genome sequencing, the intelligence kit, and just applying all of those resources to help solve cases.
And Carol mentioned that we're, facilitating these things. We're trying to help the bandwidth that law enforcement has and families have and try to point them in the right directions for these resources because, like I said, workloads and caseloads can sometimes be so vast that if we can lend a helping hand and point them in the right direction, it could create something really valuable for the case and hopefully some resolution.
Okay.
Yeah, there's lots of times law enforcement will come to NCMEC to say, hey, we have this missing child case. What do we do? And so we do provide a lot of consultation and connecting them with the right resources that are out there that can help solve their cases. Most law enforcement doesn't understand the difference between one DNA technology or the other.
Yeah.
But we collaborate with a lot of different partners that are the subject matter experts that we can connect them with that can help break down the different technologies and so that they're really applying the right resources.
Okay. And you collaborate with agencies or organizations across the country?
Across the country, yeah.
Yeah, we have different partnerships with private labs, state universities, federal forensic laboratories. So one of our big partners is actually the U.S. Secret Service.
Oh, wow.
Their Forensic Sciences Division. They do a lot of work on NCMEC cases that we can connect law enforcement to them.
I didn't even know they had a forensic science division.
They have a wonderful lab, so they offer a lot of fingerprinting and a lot of vehicle forensics, calligraphers, GIS mapping. So there's a lot of resources that the local law enforcement agencies don't have readily available to them that we can then connect them to.
Has there ever been a case where you all said, I want to look into this, or do you only look into cases that someone else brings to you?
We take on cases that are brought to us. We have our call center, 1-800-THE-LOST, is a really great place for families or law enforcement or even our federal partners to reach out. And we can try to navigate from there. But of course, if we do contact an agency and that conversation leads to maybe us in taking a case as well, we're sort of an open book when it comes to trying to figure out how we can help cases all across the U.S. and then work with different companies and figure out the best path forward.
Nice. And you are a forensic artist, am I correct?
I am, yeah. I'm one of 4 forensic artists that works at the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children full-time on creating what started as age progressions for long-term missing children's cases, helping families provide hopefully a piece of imagery that could help create something recognizable for the public so that they see something, a version of that child, whether they've been missing for 2 years or 30 years, and instill some hope, not only with them, but the communities at large, that child could still be out there. But then also, a big part of the reason why I'm here with Carol and NCMEC is the fact is that when we create facial approximations from unidentified deceased children's cases, there can be a lot of bias and subjectivity in that process. And so what the advancements in DNA and other forensic applications can do is eliminate that bias and provide us with more specific information as to how these children's faces could have presented themselves when they were most recently living. And that could be from a crime scene photograph, or that could be from skeletal remains.
Okay. So these technologies that you're saying that can provide a more accurate facial progression, they take the genetic information. Do you ever compare, their sketch versus your sketch?
Oh, of course. We do. We try to do that after the fact, eliminating that bias and working on the case and the image as we can. But we don't just do one image either. As time goes on and advancements are made, we've lived with some cases since the late 90s, and we've applied new information to create updated imagery for the public to consume. Whether it's new information on biological information or ancestral information that could take something that's a little more generic and then create something that's more specific to that child, and that could impact how the public understands what this child could have looked like, and even apply familial information and things like that to apply that to the image. More information, the better, the more accurate the image is going to be. And at the end of the day, if a company is creating an image and we're creating an image and both of those could be featured, that's a good thing. There's no such thing as too many cooks when it comes to an investigation and trying to get the word out on these children's cases. All attention is good attention, we feel.
And we've learned too that a lot of our unidentified deceased children, once they get identified, we realize that they have not been reported missing to police. So just searching police records hasn't been able to help us resolve all of our hundreds of cases that have been recorded to NCMEC. So really applying the technologies through the images that Colin's team produces and applying the different resources like the DNA results to these images really gives these cases a better chance at getting resolved with somebody recognizing that child, because while there's a missing persons report that we can search for this child, there is somebody looking for that.
Right.
And so there is a neighbor, there is a classmate, a sibling, an aunt, a grandparent that is still looking for that child, and we just need to reach them. So if we can increase the effectiveness of our images that we're putting out, the greater chance somebody's going to recognize who that child is and pick them.
Yeah, that's great. So you have forensic artists. What other, subdivisions of forensic science or just forensics do you have at NCMEC? Yes.
So we have a couple other different arrays, but specifically we have 6 forensic anthropologists that we consult with through our Team Adam program. And so these anthropologists are available to law enforcement agencies and medical examiners across the country. So we can deploy them to help work alongside a medical examiner that may not have a consulting anthropologist on staff, to do a biological assessment, trauma analysis. They can also go out on scene to help with searching for clandestine graves, or if law enforcement is putting together search and recovery efforts, to understand if what they're finding at the scene is human versus non-human.
Yeah.
We do have lots of agencies that pursue exhumations for DNA collection over the years. And these are unique events that most agencies, they don't know what steps to take or how to mitigate any challenges that could happen. So connecting them and having an anthropologist assigned really helps set them up well so that an exhumation goes smoothly.
And just to add to that, specifically for my team, it's so helpful to have a forensic anthropologist basically donating their time to us before we even start an image to give us an assessment, give us information what they could tell from whether it's an age progression or working off of a morgue photo of a deceased child or skeletal remains, and really helping us, always trying to eliminate subjectivity and bias and bring in experts in their field to give us any information that's going to help us present that child as to what they would have looked like when they were most recently living. We find that these anthropologists, even if they're not artists or artistically inclined whatsoever, they can give us really good feedback and information as to how to make the images better. And if the images are good, they're going to capture the public's attention.
Yeah. I love that you all have these different divisions working together for the same goal.
Yeah, and all of the resources that we can provide agencies are free.
Okay.
And so we really don't want funding to be a hindrance to applying the right resource that's going to solve a case. So when law enforcement comes to NCMEC, we coordinate everything through our own internal and external partnerships.
Well, thank you so much for sitting here and talking with me today.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
We're excited to be here.
I hope you enjoy Ishi.
Thank you.